Hello, Cancer, and welcome to this, your November 15th through November 30th reading and predictions. A very warm welcome to each and every one of you. For those of you who are new here, thank you so much for joining my channel. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my little channel. All right, let's get started, Cancer. For those of you who are new here, just a quick note, I do not edit my videos. If I cough, if I stumble over my words, if I have to get up out of my seat and go and collect cards off the floor because they went flying, oh well, it is what it is. So please enjoy. Sit back, relax, and let's get started. The first cards that we're going to pull for you are going to be cards of where you are at now, here as I sit and record this for you in the middle of November. What's going on for Cancer? What is influencing them? Okay, we had a couple of cards that tried to jump out, and then they decided not to come fully out of the deck. So we'll go through again and see what comes up for Cancer. What's going on with the Cancers right now? All right. Yeah, we got 3 cards, or maybe 4, that are looking like they're going. There they go. Yeah, and there's one more about to fall. Is it going to fall before I get to the end of the deck? No. All right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, and in this order: the 8 of Wands, the traveling card. Ooh, we have the 15, the Devil, conditioning card. We have the completion card, the 21 card. Sorry, that was kind of off screen. There we go. We have the suppression card, and we have the Lovers. Holy moly! 1, 2, 3 out of 5 cards. 3 of your first 5 cards, Cancer, are major arcana. This is an indication that there is a really strong message out there for you at this time. So the first card that we do have for you is the 8 of Wands. This card may indicate that traveling is in your future, moving from one geographic location to another geographic location. It may be that you are already in the throes of actually traveling, or you may be in the process of booking some future travel. But the card that is right next to this card is the card that is called conditioning. This card corresponds to the Devil from the traditional tarot. And what this card is about, plain and simple, is your ego. It is also about past conditioning. So how does that relate to traveling? Well, for some people, they have a preconceived notion about certain destinations around the world, about certain areas of the world. Yes, I'm going to dig into this. So mass media, for example, for Americans as well as Canadians, less so for some of the Europeans and those from the UK. But for a great number of people, they have been told for some time, ooh, don't go to Mexico, cartels and violence and drugs and shootings in the streets and so on. And while some of that is actually happening in Mexico, is Mexico any less safe than anywhere else? Is it any less safe than Canada or the US or Europe or the UK or anywhere else on the planet? Well, if we have been told certain things by someone who we perceive as being in authority or in the know, i.e. mass media, then we may have a tendency to believe it as the gospel truth. That is what conditioning is all about. And what this card asks us to do is, while we are in the process of considering booking a vacation, possibly, or traveling or going elsewhere in the world, this card coming up right next to it is saying, leave your preconceived notions at the door and enter with an open mind. Because some of what you have been conditioned to believe may or may not be true. The only way for you to find out the truth, Cancer, is for you to actually experience it. Moving on to the completion card. And the completion card is the 21st card in the major arcana of the tarot. This is the card that corresponds to the world. This is the card that indicates that there is a closing off of a chapter in your life, that you have overcome some of the conditioning and beliefs that someone else pushed upon you. And you are at that place, Cancer, where you are prepared to believe your own truth. Which brings us to the 10 of Wands. Interesting that you have both the 8 of Wands and the 10 of Wands. Now, the 10 of Wands is a card wherein you believe that you're not as free as you think you should be. But the reality is that the only person that binds you up in chains and ropes is your own belief systems. I don't know if that's making sense to you, but we're going to wrap all of this together in just a moment. And then finally in your reading, you do have the Lovers card coming in. So, what does all this mean for where you are at right now here as I begin this reading for you? Well, like I said, this 8 of Wands is indicating that you may be already traveling or in the process of booking your winter vacation. When you are looking at destinations for booking your winter vacation, sorry, I keep going off screen with that. When you are looking at destinations, make sure that you are booking your destination based on your own truth, not on someone else's truth. And the reality is that once we actually start traveling in our lives, we achieve completion in some ways for ourselves, because when we see how the other parts of the world live, how other countries live, eat, sleep, breathe, when we experience all of that, we ourselves are open to an awakening and a completion, and it allows us to bring our belief systems full circle. And that brings us to the 10 of Wands card, the suppression card, wherein we may believe like either our own lives are being suppressed back home and our own freedoms are being suppressed and repressed, or it may open our eyes to the suppression and repression that other people are experiencing, which brings us to the Lovers card, and the Lovers card is about partnerships. Now, new partnerships, not necessarily romantic partnerships for you, Cancer, but potentially a new partnership or agreement, or being able to see other people in a different light. That is where I'm going with these 5 cards that have come up for you, that these 5 cards are indicating that there is an awakening happening for you right now with how you perceive the world, and it's not what you thought. And you are recognizing that I'm actually going to make a prediction that some cards that are going to come out here are actually going to express some gratitude, or ask you to express some gratitude at some point during your reading. And the reason I'm saying that is that through travel, whether it's physical travel or whether it's astral travel, through experiencing other people's realities, there is an awakening happening for you, Cancer. And through this awakening, you are then opening yourself up to new relationships. So let's see what you are actually focusing on. Let's get down to some more specifics and narrow down where we are going to be really going with this reading, and where you are headed for the latter half of November here, Cancer. And your cards are coming out all over the place. Look at this mess. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to end up having a whole bunch of cards drop out of this pile, and then we're going to have to mix those cards up and see where we're going. Oh, geez. And some are on the floor and some more are falling out. Yeah. Okay. And is that card going to come out? Yeah. A couple more come out. Okay. Pick your card up off the floor. Well, one of them. And there goes the shaking of the camera, being that I am in an RV. I'm sorry about that. How do you like to see my palm print there? I told you I don't edit my videos. What you see is what you get, and sometimes it's a little goofy. All right. I'm just picking up all of your cards here. Why are things opening on my desktop? Okay. All right. So, Cancer, this is the number of cards that came out for you. Look at this mass of cards that came out. So, what is Cancer focusing on for the latter half of November? What is important to Cancer? What do they need to be concentrating on and focusing on? We need one or two cards here, please. Angels, ancestors, divine beings. We are divine beings as well. Okay, there's one card, because that one definitely did not want to go back in the pile. And let's see. There's another one. Is there anything else? 3 more times. 1. Anything else? 2. And 3. Nothing else. Okay. Let's see what we have for you and what you're focusing on. Ooh, you have the 9 of Pentacles as well as the Magician. Now, the 9 of Pentacles is a card of integration. It's a card of having achieved with regards to a lot of hard work that you've been putting in, that you are now in that place where you can begin to reap the benefits and reap the rewards of hard work that you've been putting in. And right next to that, you have the Magician, indicating that now that you have achieved certain accomplishments, you're in the process of looking towards next steps and creating new manifestations for yourself, creating a new world. And you know, I'm going to go back to these cards for just a moment. The fact that these cards are indicating that you have had what might be called a spiritual awakening, but at the very least, you've had an awakening to more of the world and how the world operates and how other people live, which has opened your eyes to a number of things. I think that the fact that you've gone through this very recently or are still in the throes of experiencing it, you are now in that place where you can move into creating a new vision, not only for yourself, but for the world as a whole. But we're going to just concentrate on you right now, Cancer. So this 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles shows a character who is out in their garden and they are enjoying the fruits of their labors. That's essentially what that card is saying. And the Magician is the card that lets us know how truly magical we really are, and the fact that we have the capacity and the ability to be able to manifest what we want in the world. And if what we want to achieve in the world is peace and joy and abundance for all and equality, then we have to actually begin to embody that within ourselves as well. The other thing, one of the other things, or common theme when the Magician comes up, is that a lot of people want to manifest new relationships for themselves or a change in the dynamic of their existing relationship, Cancer. And given that you have the Lover's card here, it indicates too that there is this desire on your part to create new partnerships for yourself. Not necessarily romantic, although I do think that, wow, at least 60% of you are seeking to have a new romantic relationship or a drastic shift in your existing romantic relationship. The other 40% of you are looking just for companionship. There's a difference between the romantic relationship that I'm kind of tapping into versus a companionship relationship. But either way, it does come down to a deeper human connection is one of the things that you are focusing on trying to achieve at this time, Cancer. And this Magician card is reminding you that you can actually have that, you can create that. Let's look at difficult influences for you or challenges that may be coming up in this endeavor to create a new partnership of some kind. The cards are just coming out as a complete mess this time, Cancer. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Makes it a little bit difficult to try and mix them up. Yeah, I knew that card was coming out. Okay, so for difficult difficult influences, you have the Far Away Places card. Get ready for new horizons. Now, it's interesting that you had the Eight of Wands here, and the Eight of Wands from this deck is all about traveling. And then you end up with a card from a completely other deck, and you get the Far Away Places card, and this is the traveling card. Get ready for new horizons. Be able to see things from a new perspective. This is in your difficult influences. So one of the things that's challenging you right now is expanding your horizons and expanding your perception of the world right now. This may also indicate that although you are looking towards booking some travel at this time, or perhaps you're already traveling, but some of you, it's about booking travel. You're bumping into some ego aspects with regards to booking the travel, honestly. That's why this card's come in, this Devil card here. But so this card coming up in your challenges, from a practical perspective, Cancer, this is saying that maybe booking travel at this time is a great idea, but perhaps not actually taking the trip mid to late November. And from a more metaphysical perspective, this card is asking you to expand your horizons. It's asking you to expand your perceptions. And I think that that's why at the beginning I talked about that perception that mainstream media has put out there for many Canadians and Americans that Mexico is uber dangerous. Like, don't go there. Ooh, don't go there. And yet for hundreds of thousands of Canadians and Americans who have traveled to Mexico, the vast majority, I'm not saying everyone, but the vast majority have had a good experience. So it is something that you need to experience for yourself, Cancer, before you can cast judgment on something. And I explained that, and then getting this card in your difficult influences is an indication that we were really treading down the correct path with regards to the traveling card and the traveling card coming out right next to the Devil card here. That you have some preconceived notions about certain areas of the world, and you're being asked to really, really expand your horizons with regards to your perceptions. I'm going to go here, despite the controversy. There is a particular area of the world at this time, and I'm going to be a little cagey with my wording because of algorithms, but there is a certain area of the world at this time that is very, very divided in their opinions. And that division is gradually expanding and permeating into other areas of the world, including Europe, the UK, Canada, the US. Um, there's just this pervasive division that is coming. And I believe that many people are picking sides. In Cancer, I think that you are one of them. And the reason that you have the conditioning card coming out pertaining to two separate cards about travel is that you may hold some preconceived notions about it, and you're being asked to explore those preconceived notions at this time, especially if your intention is to create new partnerships in the world, both new partnerships for the purposes of having companionship, but also for the purposes of expanding your horizons for possibly a romantic relationship or a work relationship. There's something that is clouding judgment here, Cancer. And you're going to need to dig deep within your own psyche and into your own belief systems rather than believing everything that you are being told. All right, messages that the universe wants you to hear at this time. That card definitely jumped out. Oh, I think there's more than one there. I think there's two. All right. So let's take a look at messages that the universe wants you to hear at this time. Feel joy in all that you do. Yes. And death is an illusion. You know, Cancer, I've recorded the majority of the videos for most of the zodiac signs already this month, and you are the third zodiac sign to get this message this month. Death is an illusion. Take that as it resonates. And the other message that you got is feel joy in all that you do. The feel joy in all that you do is a card of live in the present moment. Let's see what is unexpected for you. Let's see what's coming up that is unexpected. We've got two cards jumping out. One of the cards that has jumped out, oh, there's another one. One of the cards that's jumped out that I can see, the other one is upside down, is the Princess of Autumn, also known as the Page of Pentacles. This is a card about happy news pertaining to your job. So in the order in which they came out, you have in your unexpected some happy news coming in about job or career. The next card that came out is the Prince of Autumn, also known as the Knight of Pentacles. This is a card of caution. Okay, this one's bringing you some good news, and this one is a cautious card. Oh my goodness. So you have that one, that one. I'm just looking at the other cards that have come out. You've got another princess here as well. Okay. So getting back to this, you have good news coming your way, but with that good news, meticulous attention to detail, take it with a grain of salt. You have the Nine of Pentacles coming in again. You have the Nine of Pentacles twice in your reading, Cancer. That's fantastic news. The Nine of Pentacles, a reminder, is the card of having achieved, that you are being recognized and rewarded for your efforts. And again, these two cards have similar meaning, the Princess of Autumn and the Nine of Autumn. So either way, in your unexpected, Cancer, there is some good news about career and money. But on the other side of things, you have the Princess of Winter coming in. So you've got all these pentacles coming in. And then you've got the Princess of Winter and the Seven of Winter coming into your unexpected. Now, the Princess of Winter, also known as the Page of Swords, is coming in with some news for you. It's news that you need to hear, but you don't necessarily want to hear. I'm actually not surprised that you got this card, because This card is news that you need to hear, not news that you want to hear. And I think it plays well into what we were talking about here with the devil coming up with your traveling cards here, and this need to expand your horizons and see things from a different perspective. And so this card is indicating that you are going to get that confirmation that things are not always as they seem. That is going to make you feel like you are skating on thin ice a little bit. Is that a bad thing? No, not really, because when we are on thin ice, we have this sense of being on thin ice. It's because some of our old perceptions are being torn down, and we have the opportunity to rebuild with the Magician card here. Going into the Justice card. So when the Justice card comes up in the unexpected, actually when the Justice card comes up anywhere in someone's reading, I do make a recommendation to them that they don't speed for the time frame. I mean, don't speed anyway, but you know, be a little bit more caution. Don't be jaywalking. Be more cautious at this time, because the Justice card may indicate difficulties with rules and regulations, shall we say. It's interesting to me that you have, and again, I'm going to say this. As I mentioned here, you were the third zodiac sign to get this card. You are also the fourth zodiac sign to have the Prince of Autumn and the Justice card come out together in their readings. Both of these cards indicate meticulous attention to detail. Make sure that all of the I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. Do not enter into any kind of legal, contractual, anything unless you are absolutely positive that you are prepared to put your John Henry on that at this time, Cancer. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I cannot give you formal legal advice. This is common sense, that if you are entering into a new lease, for example, even if you are entering into some kind of new relationship, as indicated by this card, if you are formalizing a relationship at this time, make sure that you've read the contract and you understand all of the consequences of what it is that you are entering into at this time. So that is your unexpected. Wow. Where are we going to go for your general overall outcome? General overall outcome, Cancer. With all of this that you have going on, you don't have a choice but to transform. And the one card that has jumped right out, I'm sure the camera would have picked it up the way that it flew, is the transformation card. Transformation. Okay. With all that you have going on, with all of this confusing stuff that has come screaming out during your reading, Cancer, you don't have a choice but to transform. Now, this card corresponds to the number 13 card from the Major Arcana. The number 13 card is the Death card. This means that as you are dropping your preconceived notions, or those notions that someone else has planted in your head with regards to other areas of the world, whether it be the divisive areas of the world or whether it just be a future vacation destination for you, as those preconceived notions are falling away, you are opening your eyes to brand new things. You are also in the process of being recognized and acknowledged for your efforts that you've been putting in with these two Nine of Pentacles and the Princess of Pentacles that came in here for you. And you don't have a choice but to transform at this time. You are going through mini deaths, right? The death card is not about literal human meat suit death. The death card is about our belief systems and our attachment to our belief systems being reconfigured. And that causes us to experience little deaths, little parts of us go by the wayside when we change our perception of things and we learn to see things through a different set of eyes or a different set of perceptions. So as you're going through all of this, Cancer, you may be feeling a little overwhelmed. So your final card of your reading is a card that has the best advice ever for you to be able to cope with everything that's coming up on your plate during the latter half of November. Moment to moment. Live in the present moment. When you live in the present moment and you're not dealing with all of these projections that are happening around you and all of these other influences that are going on, you have the ability to be able to determine what's right and what's wrong. And you have the ability to step away from this sensation of feeling like you are on thin ice and reground yourself, because that's what living in the present moment is all about. So that was a reading like no other, Cancer. It was all over the place. You have a lot going on right now, but I feel like the reason you have a lot going on is because there's a huge awakening happening in you right now, and you're beginning to see through the veil that we have all been living behind. And it's magical, it's wonderful, but at times it makes you feel like you're skating on thin ice. Go back to living in the present moment and accept this transformation that you are experiencing. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. If this resonated, please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel. And I hope you will allow me the honor of doing your next reading at the beginning of December.